Paternia went through the work. So shout out to Paternia, one of my favorite social media accounts on Twitter, on Instagram, even on Facebook a little bit, to utilize to keep track of an awful lot of these things. So hopefully he doesn't mind a little bit of a freebooting here, but he put together a list of pretty much all of the main toy-centric stuff that's going to be talked about during Comic-Con week. So important days to remember, of course, preview night versus the exact days of San Diego Comic-Con. Starting off with Thursday, here's the schedule. What is this? Oh, this is like the exclusives. Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out what's going to be an actual panel where things are going to be talked about versus just doing this whole exclusive thing. Because as the days went on, we had some things being shown off and then others not really. So take Thursday, for example. It starts off with these CollectorCon Day 1, Mattel exclusives online sale. But then again, when I see online sale, I'm like, all right, this is not an actual panel. This is just Comic-Con exclusives finally being available for purchase, at the beginning of that week. Some of them. One of which is this is the gym towel. This is the gym towel of the Jim Bro Skeletor, but I believe there's an actual Mattel figure being made of Jim Bro Skeletor. And I've seen the images, and it's novel, it's goofy, but it's charming. And I don't blame anybody whatsoever for wanting that figure. And I believe that is an SDCC exclusive. So shout out to those that are going to be getting that figure. But yeah, that's just the exclusives going on sale at 9 a.m. Thursday the 23rd. So as we go down this list, I'm kind of going through what is actually being constituted as like a panel reveal. It doesn't really look like, in regards to Mattel's DC, that there's anything concrete right now for Thursday. Because I'm looking through and I'm looking out for the word Mattel, and the only thing I see is their WWE reveals on Thursday at 11:15. Apart from that, I don't see anything else. Hasbro's got the G.I. Joe panel, 10 a.m. Why so early? Yeah. On Thursday. And then in terms of words that genuinely stand out to me, maybe Jada Toys. If they're doing like actual more physical toys as opposed to vehicles, maybe they have something to talk about at 3. Mondo Toy Talk. But again, Mondo, I'm not really been feeling Mondo all that well these past couple of years regarding their figures, because all of their 1/6 scale stuff, it's mainly for like the diehards. Apart from that, I'm like, don't have that kind of money right now, so it doesn't really move me in any kind of direction, because it doesn't look like they're doing anything terribly innovative. And then we move on to Friday, which is so far the only available day in terms of panels, unless, and to be honest, most of the Saturday stuff regarding action figures doesn't really happen. Saturday is predominantly taken up by the much more multimedia stuff. Movies, specifically Hall H with Marvel, DC, and then TV shows, and even some video game stuff. Some of which the video game stuff involves... Sony had the audacity to reveal recently that they're going to have panels for Wolverine, God of War Laufey, and Marvel Tokon at San Diego Comic-Con. Surely that will go well. I would pay so much money. I would send like donations if there was a way that at the end of each panel they have like a Q&A session and literally everyone lines up, but every question is the exact same question. And the question is, of course, are you guys bringing back the discs? So about that physical media. So, regarding these Blu-ray discs, and eventually the panelists just get tired and be like, all right, and they do that thing in the movies where they're like, if you don't have a question that doesn't have anything to do with the physical media thing, then I would kindly ask you guys to leave so that others can ask the question. And then, like in those movies, the majority of the audience inside of that panel room just goes and just funnels out and just exits the room. Like a "Oh Captain, my Captain" type of moment. That would be hilarious. It's not going to happen, but that would be hilarious. So far, we only got a form of an itinerary for Friday. Inside of this Friday panel, though, guess who does show up? Marvel Legends panel in room 5AB at 11:30 a.m. And then from 1 to 2, McFarlane Toys. Unreleased, unannounced, unleashed. So that same day at 9 a.m., he's going to talk about some of the Walmart stuff. And then later on in the afternoon, he's going to be in front of a panel, in front of a group of people inside of room 6A to talk about McFarlane Toys unreleased. And that's probably the big one. It's this one right here, guys. Friday the 24th from 1 to 2, where there's probably going to be some at least some render reveals of that possible Absolute Batman, of that possible Fraction Jimenez 2025 comic Batman, and anything else in between that we could hopefully desire. And this is a pretty important one, considering that this is probably it, guys. This is probably going to be the last style of panel of this magnitude before the license is out. Think about it. Because this is Comic-Con. This is the big one. Sure, there's more conventions in throughout the remainder of the year. LA Comic-Con is in, I think this year LA Comic-Con is like at the end of October, actually. Like that last Halloween weekend. Was strange. Strange, but huge incentive for cosplay. But it's really San Diego Comic-Con. That's the peak. That's the magnum opus. That's the Super Bowl of conventions. McFarlane is showing up, so that means he's got to show up, because whatever they show at this panel, whether it's simply just a render or a full product reveal, a prototype even, this is going to really pull in their last wave of revenue and hype as far as customer loyalty for at least those last 3 to 4 months, because we're talking about the end of July, right? So, if we're talking from a fiscal perspective, you would say that August is practically there. So realistically, those figures need to come out in what? September, October, November? And then that's it. But I think from what I remember in years past, McFarlane doesn't release anything in December, let alone reveal, because by that point, the focus is to sell the figures. It's Christmas time. You got to sell the figures. You're not going to reveal anything. You're not going to talk about anything. And since this is the last year, December almost doesn't really count. It's really November. So once July is up, August, September, October. And then November is really when you get as much of that product out there as possible. So whatever they got to show at this Comic-Con panel, it's got to hit. I know it's an awful lot of pressure, but it's got to hit.